broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Favorite song ever.
Right. Happy Monday, everyone. If you are tuning into AfterBuzzTV.com, you've come to the right place. This is the Amazing Race After Show for Season 27, Episode 3, Where My Dog's At.
Where my dog's at.
I'm your host, James Wallington, and across the table from me is...
What's up, guys? I'm Jessica Carroll, and sadly, Marie could not be here with us this week, but she will be back. Actually, she's gone next week as well.
Yes. But we might have special guests next week in our studio.
Very exciting. I am stoked to have them. So cross your fingers. We might have some really exciting guests next week.
Fingers crossed.
But this episode, wow.
It was good.
The results were great.
Well, of course, for you, it was amazing.
My three fantasy teams are in first, second, and third place right now.
I just don't even know how Maria and I are going to even catch up.
I am the proudest fantasy team mom girl ever right now.
I love it. Yeah, congrats. That's all I can say is congratulations.
Well, no, this is a first for me because I've actually never been in the lead, I don't think.
This is true.
James is normally always in the lead, and then Justin, and then me. So for me to actually be in the top, this is like big time.
The roles have reversed because I am in last place now. So, sweet Lord, help me now.
Now you know how it feels.
So let's talk about this episode. Overall, besides the top 3 placements of this leg, what did you think of the episode overall?
I was kind of grossed out at the begining. The whole meat thing was not up my alley.
No way.
The horse thing I would have dominated in because I grew up near rodeos. My uncle does polo, so I would have been really good at that. But yeah, I don't know. And I also like when teams are close and there's foot run, and I love all that stuff.
Yeah, this leg, it seemed like everyone who was on bus 2 was really neck and neck, so it kind of raised the stakes a little bit more. But let's talk about Earnest and Jenn, because I'm confused as to what happened and why they were so far behind.
No idea.
It didn't really register to me as a viewer. I don't know if it was made clear to anyone else who's watching right now. Please weigh in and give us your thoughts in the chat. We will definitely get to your comments, but I'm confused as to what happened with Earnest and Jenn.
I'm confused too. So everyone got on the bus except for Earnest and Jenn, and honestly, it was light out by the time they even got on the bus. So it must have been hours and hours and hours before I don't understand what happened.
And it seemed like everyone had already gotten on a bus before they even left the pit stop. So I don't know if they overslept, they just didn't set their alarms, but whatever it was, we just didn't see any sort of technicality as to why they were so far behind. Right. It just wasn't explained well. So I had a lot of questions.
Yeah.
But right out the gate in this episode, we get a little update on what's going on with Team Texas. Because as we saw last week's episode, as Tanner is running to the pit stop, he pulled his hamstring. He said, "We know that God has a plan for us, and we took for granted what God gave us, our strength and ability to do physical challenges. Hopefully it'll work out for the best." I do appreciate their optimism, I must say.
Yes, I did too. I did. And then we hear from Justin. He said that he's watched every single season, every episode, pretty much about 3 times.
Yes.
That's a lot.
Which he believes gives him a huge advantage because he has studied how teams have gotten eliminated and how they've won. But I think being a super fan has its perks as a racer because you're kind of aware of how the race should be run. But I don't know. I think still it might be a little too eager and it might just backfire eventually. So
sometimes instead of going with his gut instinct, he might go, a previous team did this, we should do that.
Right.
Instead of looking at all of the factors at that moment and going with his gut. So hopefully that doesn't hurt him, bite him in the butt.
And I do think in some cases, ignorance is bliss. So maybe some other teams will surprise us because they may not be as aware of The Amazing Race or as big of a super fan. So hopefully it'll work out for Justin and Diana and that their super fan-ness will continue throughout the race and it will benefit them. But I also wouldn't be surprised if it ended up harming them in the long run.
Yeah. And I think that because he is such a super fan of the show and he's so excited to be on the show, that I think some people are being rubbed the wrong way, finding him almost annoying.
Right. Because
he is so excited and he's like dancing with the little people around and he's, I got the clue, and he's just so excited about everything that they're like, okay, buddy, like tone it down.
Slow your roll.
Yeah. So I hope that people realize that he's just so excited instead of like he's annoying. But because I watched the episode with some friends and they're like, dude, this guy.
He's a lot.
Yeah, he's a lot to handle. And I'm like, I know, but he's just excited. So
right. Well, Denise and James Earl kind of touch on the fact again that this is the longest time that they have spent together in a long while. I love Denise. Let's talk about Denise for a second. She is a rock star, and if she had her own talk show, I would tune in every single week. I would be a religious fan. She is hilarious. Okay. Everything about her, just her quirks. I love how she calls James Earl like every 5 seconds. It's not just James, it's always James Earl, and it's James Earl. And I'm like, gosh, Denise, I'm in love with her. I think she's a rock star.
I do love her, but I just have to be honest. Her voice can sometimes get a little pitchy and high.
Okay, I can see that.
But I love her. I love her personality. I love her enthusiasm for life, her optimism, but just her voice, I kind of had to put my volume down a little bit.
Then on the mat, we hear a little bit of an update from Chack Attack. We hear Rick saying, we're pretty confident that we aren't going to make any mistakes today, and that's the goal. The moment I heard that soundbite, I went, okay, this is obviously foreshadowing something that's going to happen on this leg. You can always kind of tell now with editing how the episode's going to like play out. So I was like, oh, great. I can only see this going to happen in the long run.
There were a few little oopsie moments during this episode.
Yes.
But we'll get into those.
And then last but not least, we have Earnest and Jenn talking about how that today is their catch-up game and how they need to put in work and be on point. But I'm also thinking...
Another soundbite that we're like foreshadowing?
Yeah, but you're like starting off this leg and you're already not on point. Because again, as a viewer, I'm just so confused as to why you are so far behind and how every single person got onto a bus before they left the pit stop. At least that's what appeared to me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm in the live chat right now before we go into the rest of the episode. I want to give a few shout outs to Scarpen, Alice Tedder, Paula Mangarelli, the usual viewers every single week. We appreciate your guys' loyalty to our after show. Of course, Joseph Boza. Looks like we have a newcomer, Marcus Corral. So you guys are definitely keeping the conversation going, which we love and appreciate. I'm trying to catch up to see if there might be anything in this group regarding Earnest and Jenn, just to kind of give us some light on this situation. Let's see. Earnest and Jenn were 90 minutes behind Justin and Diana, who left first. So unless things happen, they weren't going to stay in the game. Oh, so Joseph Boza is already claiming that from the get-go because they were so far behind from the first place team leaving the pit stop that there was just no way for them to catch up. Interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
Justin and Diana left at 5:45 a.m. and then Earnest and Jenn left at 7:16 a.m. Oh, that's right.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of all just like Joseph was saying, it depends on when the buses left. So.
Right. And the buses were a tricky situation. So we see that Kelsey and Joey and the Texans got on the first bus.
Exactly.
And that's when the Texans made a little alliance. And they said, whoever U-turns Justin, the green team, we will give we'll give our express pass to that team.
They're so aggressive about getting out the green team, which is hysterical to me because I'm still not quite sure what it is and why it's so personal. I would understand if it was more so Justin and Diana are really good competitors and they're threatening to our game. But all I keep hearing is that Justin and Diana, Justin annoys them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're really going to waste a U-turn on someone who annoys you opposed to someone that might actually be threatening to your game.
But look at it right now. They are their biggest challenge.
True, but I don't feel like we've heard that much from Tanner and Josh. It's always Justin's annoying. He's got to go. And then towards the end of the episode, we did see they're giving us a run for our money. But it's like right now, from the start of this episode, all we hear is Justin's annoying.
Yeah.
We need to
I feel like it's
U-turn him.
because they're always neck and neck. So it's really like the only team that they're around all the time. And they're like, we want to get them away.
True. Very true.
But then we see later on the bus makes a little stop, pick up another team, and who walks on the bus? Justin
Green team.
and Diana.
Well, it worked out to their favor because they kind of did something a little differently than the rest of the teams. They didn't go initially to the first bus station. They got onto a bus that took them to another bus station where bus number 1 happened to stop. So, of course, with the reporters and Team Texas on this bus, Green team comes strolling in, and you can just see like the faces of the two teams on the bus. They were just like, "What?"
Oh God! Yeah.
Of course, here comes Justin and Diana strolling onto the bus.
Oh gosh.
So teams at the start of this leg got their route info. At the start of the legs, teams had to travel by bus to the rural town of San Antonio de Areco. Upon arrival, they had to choose a pickup truck to proceed to their next destination, La Porteña, where they would receive their next clue. So that's why all the teams are obviously on the bus going to their next destination. On bus number 1, we have Team Texas, the reporters, and the green team. On team number 2, or bus number 2, Team Alabama, Chack Attack, Paparazzis, cheerleaders, the track stars. And then, of course, Earnest and Jenn still at the pit stop at this point. But they were on bus number 3. So once teams arrive in the town of San Antonio de Areco, they got their next clue, which was the roadblock. The roadblock at the Porteña Ranch said, "Who is smoking hot?" Would you have done this detour, Jessica? Or would your teammate done this one?
My teammate would have done this for sure. I'm not really into the whole raw meat thing. However, with that being said, I love fashion, and I really am really good with detail. So I probably would have actually been good at this detour if I just got over the fact that I was dealing with a dead animal. But I would have been good at it because I'm good at looking and matching and pairing, and so yeah. Well, what about you?
I definitely would have had an issue with this one. Going back to the whole raw meat thing, it just would have grossed me out. I have a hard time cooking chicken at home and having to touch the raw patty, the chicken breast. So it definitely would have irked me, but knowing that there's $1 million on the line, you just got to suck it up and do it. You know?
Is Justin on our live chat?
I was trying to confirm that, but my connection
I believe
is
Justin
not
and
caught up
Diana
yet.
are commenting and listening right now.
Well, Justin and Diana, hello. Hello, the green team. Hopefully I'll get the live chat up and running because I would love to see their feedback on our after show as we go live on the air.
Hello, green team. You are my fantasy team, and I give you kisses.
For this roadblock, one team member had to properly hang 2 racks of lamb and 1 rack of beef ribs onto a set of metal grills to cook the meat, asado style. Once the meats were secured on all sides, skewered properly, and the bones oriented in the correct direction to the head cook's standards, he would give them their next clue. Doing this roadblock was Justin, Joey, Josh, Chris, Rick, Tiffany, Danielle, James Earl, and Ernest. I loved when Justin and Diana were making the decision of who was going to do this. Diana goes, for answering the question of who's smoking hot, she goes, "I am, but you're going to do it."
Yeah, I am, but you're doing it.
So good. I think the moral of this entire episode was detail.
Yes.
I think we can learn a lot from this episode that if you're on The Amazing Race, paying close attention to detail is either what's going to make you or break you.
Yeah.
A lot of the teams from the start seemed to struggle with paying attention to detail, whether it was the way the rack of the meat was supposed to face
bones
the fire or how it was like weaved onto the metal skewers. So do you think you would have been able to get the actual details of that, or would you just done it and put it up?
I think I would have paid attention to detail. But I think this is the problem with detours, is that people are so focused on just getting it done fast and beating everyone else that they don't just, take the time to make sure everything, like, really just zone in, forget about everyone else, and just pay attention to detail. Because if you take a look, Rick, who of course is a doctor, and Ernest, who actually did the entire thing by himself, are, I think, the 2 people that got it done the first try. Mm-hmm. And so that shows that everyone else was so focused on, the people next to them, or what are they doing, or, oh my God, they just left, or they just got here, instead of just focusing on the task and doing it right and paying attention to detail.
Exactly. I do want to confirm that the green team is watching on the live chat right now. Justin said, "Just because we are here in the live chat does not mean you have to be nice. Speak your mind and don't hold back." Thanks, Justin.
Good. We hate you guys. No, I'm just kidding.
I love that they're watching right now. Yeah, I think I would have had a little bit of issues with the detail. I'm really ADHD, so I think that I'm doing things right 90% of the time, but then I'm obviously not. So I think it would have been like 2 or 3 attempts to finally see the bigger picture.
Right.
So like most teams, I would have struggled for a few minutes, but then finally would have put it together the way it should have been.
And then, okay, so right when Denise gave her little sideline comment, what was going through your head?
I at first went, oh gosh, like you're helping your teammate.
Yeah.
And then I went, but then I don't feel like we've seen like a penalty be like that extreme for doing that. So I was like, I think it was just more of impulsive. I don't think she was really thinking.
I don't think she was thinking either, and I think she just blurted out. She's a mom. Moms always want to help their kids.
Exactly.
Especially Denise. We know that she likes to talk. So I don't think she did it on purpose. I know she didn't, but the minute she did it, I was like, no, because I knew there had to be a penalty. Mm-hmm. Because he's like, oh yeah, Mom, I realized it. And he even like said aloud, he's like, I figured it out.
And she even was worried, like, I hope this doesn't bite me in the butt because James Earl's going to be so mad.
James Earl.
And then we hear Logan talking about, at roadblocks, you need to learn to keep your mouth shut.
Well, she's not very good at that.
And not give those hints. So, Denise.
It wouldn't have been fair if they didn't get a penalty. So they had to have got a penalty.
True. That's a good point.
Right. Yeah.
This is when we see Tanner and Josh's annoyance level with the green team raise a little bit more. Justin's obviously annoying.
Yeah.
The teams that are there. This is the first time I think I heard the reporters, well, more so Joey, even say, that guy's annoying me right now.
Uh-huh.
So Justin
was getting annoyed himself because he could not figure it out. He was like, all right, this is it. I got it. And then, nope, wrong. I wonder how many tries he actually went through. I can't remember.
I would like to know just overall, like a time lapse on how long it took each team. Because, of course, you only see little bits and pieces, but I would have liked to have known how long or how strenuous of a task this meat thing was.
Oh, I just couldn't even imagine. I wonder, did it smell?
Can you imagine, like, you usually wear those outfits, like, more than once on the race? So, like, you're going to have raw meat. Like, when do you have a chance to wash your clothes on the race? You're just going to have raw meat juice on your
Gross.
clothes.
And I saw...
That's one of our biggest concerns.
Yeah, and then the dogs... Okay, first of all, I loved all the dog appearances. Whoever the camera guy was, I love you because thank you for showing off all the dogs. But the dogs were, like, licking the red meat and...
Ugh.
Oh, I mean, I know dogs can eat anything, but nasty.
And I went to Ecuador at the beginning of the summer, and so there was dogs mostly every little town we went into, and our guide always told us, like, don't pet the dogs. They carry a lot of diseases. So I'm just thinking,
yeah,
they're licking that meat and they're cooking this meat and they're gonna feed the meat to some people. Then again, like, the heat kills the bacteria, but still, it's just. But
and I loved it how I think it was Tanner was like, Josh, I said a prayer and literally 10 seconds after you got it. I'm like, oh, that is so cute.
So cute. How precious.
So precious.
Another thing I forgot to mention is actually, like, on the way to the roadblock is when Denise and James Earl were in the back of the truck, and Denise goes, no more arguing today. Pinky promise. And then that was the hashtag for the episode.
Yeah.
Hashtag Pinky promise. And it kind of is, fitting for them because they are the pink team.
Yeah, but the doctors were very good with detail. The main thing was the bones facing out. I felt like everyone kind of missed that.
Yes.
Texans finished first. Then the reporters, doctors freaking came up in third. Then Justin, my green team.
And of course, still, Earnest and Jenn, nowhere to be found.
Nowhere.
Still on the bus.
Like, if they even got on the bus yet, we don't even know.
We don't even know. Editing, makes it look certain ways. So we still have no idea. Once teams completed the roadblock, they were then given route info that told them that they had to travel to Plaza Principal and deliver it to the judges in order to receive their next clue. The clue was for the detour, which was horse or carriage. But before we continue on to the detour and the rest of this episode, I just want to remind everyone who is watching, as of right now, it seems like 16 people are watching live, which, yay, we love you guys. There's only 3 thumbs up. And I say this every week. If you're watching, I know you see the thumbs up on our YouTube video. Just give it a thumbs up.
Share the love.
I want by the end of this episode to have 16 thumbs up. Not only that, head over to iTunes and subscribe to AfterBuzz TV to get all your after shows for your favorite television shows on air. And last but not least, give us some comments and don't forget to subscribe to our after show because we're awesome.
Amazing Race is awesome.
We're pretty amazing.
No pun intended.
And keep the live chat going because you guys are really talkative today and I can't even keep up. I'm literally trying to scroll through the thread right now and be like, am I missing anything? Am I missing anything? And then it keeps reloading, so I can't keep reading it because you guys are all just typing a million miles.
I love it.
So we love this. All right, great. So the detour. Horse or carriage? In horse, teams had to pick a polo mallet from the plaza, walk to the change into polo gear, and then they had to walk to a riverside across a bridge and pick out the fake horse where they had to tack it properly and then push it back to the plaza. And carriage teams had to pick a buggy whip from the plaza, travel by foot, and then they had to change into gaucho clothing, clean a carriage, and push it back to a team of waiting horses. Once the horses were harnessed to the buggy, they had to ride it back to the plaza. At the end of both detours, they had to present either a fake horse or whip to the judge and receive their next clue. Based on the information of this detour, which one would you have done, Jess? Horse or carriage?
I probably would have done horse just because a carriage is heavy and I'm a girl, so I probably would have done horse. Although I was disappointed. I thought it was going to be like a real horse. I was kind of excited to dress a real horse.
Right.
But that's just me. I would have been actually pretty good at this because my uncle plays polo and I've grown up watching him dress his horse and getting gear and do all that stuff. So I would have been pretty good at this.
I would have done horse as well. The carriage thing just sounded like a lot more work. I don't know. They both seem to have like different parts to each task, but I just think I would have done better at the horse. But then again, horse comes down to detail. There's a lot of detail here, making sure that everything was lined up correctly to the mock horse they had on display. So I definitely would have done horse. But majority of the teams did do horse. We saw Texas reporters, Green Team, Alabama, track stars, and the paparazzis all do the horse part of this detour. Carriage was Chack Attack, cheerleaders, and the dancers when they eventually got there.
Yeah, once they actually did get there.
Again, neck and neck at the horse detour. First people there were Team Texas. They're, going through their tasks appropriately. And then lo and behold, comes Justin and Diana. And that's when Tanner and Josh are like,
again.
Can't catch a break.
We need to get rid of them.
I just, wasn't too intense. Nothing really stuck out to me with the detour.
They looked pretty cute. I have to say that Tanner and Josh looked pretty cute in those little tight white pants. And speaking of tight white pants, oh my gosh, I was dying when
with Logan and Chris.
Denise.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say something different. What were we gonna say?
Denise and Logan, right? No, Denise and
James Earl.
James Earl. Denise and James Earl. James was like, these pants are too tight. I think I'm wearing the wrong ones or something. I was dying.
Wait,
laughing.
I think that was Logan and Chris.
It was?
Yeah. Or did James and Denise Earl do the same?
Maybe.
James and Denise Earl.
Wait, now I'm getting
I meant
confused.
Denise and James Earl. I know. I heard that. I just didn't know who said it.
Oh.
So it's either one of those teams. One or the other.
So funny.
Too good. But then again, the pants were just tight in general.
Yeah.
Because we saw Tanner and Josh say that.
I felt like Justin had to hold up his pants. So either he lost a lot of weight on the race right off the bat, or he grabbed the wrong size. But he was running and it looked like he needed a belt.
Oh my Lord. Well, that's the detour. That kind of sums it up. Again.
The detour was funny though, especially for me, because Tanner and Josh put the saddle on backwards and I was dying laughing. I'm like, wow, that is the rookiest mistake you could possibly ever make.
But then he said his son was going to be disappointed.
Yeah, so that was pretty funny. And then how the bar for the horse's teeth, for me, these are just all I don't know, because I've dressed horses many times. It's kind of like, come on. But
you're a jack of all trades, Jess.
It was funny. And then when they had to transport the horse back, Team Alabama was like, I got the ass, you take the head.
Yeah, and they were arguing. I was like, what happened to that pinky promise?
I know.
He said, no more arguing today. And then, of course, as they were pulling that horse.
I hate it when people argue.
Denise wanted to go one way. James Earl was trying to make it better because that cobblestone road was just not working out for that horse. James Earl was right.
Yep.
James Earl was right.
That's right.
James Earl has a lot of patience with his mom.
And then on the carriage side, Chack Attack did it, the cheerleaders, Earnest and Jenn. And surprisingly, Chack Attack, foreshadowing.
When they made their mistake.
They made their mistake. They forgot to pick up the whip at the beginning of the task.
And had to go all the way back for
That
it.
sucks. And we saw it again. The cheerleaders completed the task. They got the whip to begin with, but then they left it at the carriage. So then they had to go all the way back. But when they had to go back, I was just so happy they didn't have to carry the carriage back with them. That would have sucked.
That would have sucked. But yeah, there's a lot of people making a lot of mistakes. And hopefully that doesn't catch up to them eventually on the race, because that is a rookie mistake.
Yeah.
Pay attention to detail, people. Teams, when they check into the pit stop, were first place, of course, Team Texas. Second place, the green team, like literally seconds behind. It was kind of like a foot race once again to the pit stop. While they're on the pit stop, Phil does tell them, hey, you know, coming up sometime soon on the next leg, there's going to be a double U-turn. Do you guys think you guys are going to U-turn each other? And Tanner and Josh very boldly were like, well, yeah, they're giving us a run for our money. We're going to have to. And Justin, of course, being the super fan that he is, says, if you U-turn someone, you better hope they go home. I know that much.
Yeah.
Which we've seen in the past sometimes with the double U-turn. A team will U-turn a team that doesn't get eliminated, then you made an enemy on the race.
Right. And then Justin says, and if you guys do U-turn us, then we'll just U-turn the team right behind us.
Exactly.
So there are pros, the fact that he's such a fan, because he's clever. He knows all the tricks.
Oh, wow. I'm so glad my chat finally loaded. Let's backtrack for just a quick second to the roadblock, because we did ask, like, how long did it take some teams to do this? I think if I'm reading this correctly, Justin said it took them about 6 tries and about 45 minutes for them to do it. But it took Rick from Chack Attack 15.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I like this little inside scoop.
That's very interesting.
It's so good. Oh, and I also love that Justin Nichols from our after show last seasons before, part of our family, is also in the live chat. I love it. That's great. So now we know going forward that with the double U-turn, we're going to see some drama between the green team and Team Texas. In third place are the reporters. Fourth place are the track stars, and slowly coming up behind them was Team Alabama, but they initially arrived 5th, but they were issued a 30-minute penalty after Denise helped James Earl during the against the rules. With 7 minutes,
could you imagine sitting there for 30 minutes?
It would feel like an eternity. It would feel like forever. Oh my gosh, sorry. Wow.
I was like, whoa.
Everything's catching up on my computer.
My voice is coming out.
Yeah, with like a 30-minute penalty would feel like a lifetime to me. I'd be so nervous, and we've seen on previous seasons it comes down to the wire. Like, you're there and you're like, there's only one more team left to check in. It's either going to be us or them. I can't imagine. But with 7 minutes and 19 seconds left of their penalty time, Logan and Chris bumped them from 5th to 6th. And that's why we have Team Paparazzis in 5th place and the Alabama team in 6th. 7th place, we have Chack Attack, and 8th place, the cheerleaders, which means last but not least, the eliminated team, the dancers, Earnest and Jenn. We did predict this last week. I believe you and I were on the same page with Earnest and Jenn, because the first 2 episodes, we saw a lot of their story about how they're living out of their cars and they work all these different jobs, and it was just really push, which I thought was interesting with this last episode. Like, we didn't really hear any of that. We didn't really see much of Earnest and Jenn. So it's kind of like an anticlimactic elimination episode. It wasn't shocking.
Yeah.
So, but unfortunately we say goodbye to Earnest and Jenn, and it seems like a lot of people just from social media buzz that I was reading over the last few days, a lot of people are disappointed. They would have liked to have seen the dancers do well.
They called themselves the survivors and fighters, and they definitely are survivors and fighters, and they did a great run, an amazing race, and they were all on the show, and so. And
even Phil said, we appreciate your guys' spirit. So I thought that was really sweet. And I loved how
at the end they had all the dancers like circle around them, like give them a little tribal dance at the end.
Yeah, right. That would be a great send-off from the Amazing
I have to just say that I think Tanner sounds like Matthew McConaughey at times.
I can see that.
Is that random?
No, I think I can see that.
That's funny. Just thought I'd throw a little fun tidbit out there.
I think that Justin is going to be calling in soon. Not Justin from the green team, sadly. Hopefully we'll have that happen eventually throughout the season.
Justin Nichols!
But Justin Nichols from our Amazing Race After Show family that you all love and adore.
We miss him.
Will be calling in to weigh in on his thoughts of this season and kind of tell us who he's rooting for and who he's not rooting for. But while we wait for his phone call, let's talk about our fantasy teams and give a little update.
All right.
About where we're at right now in the standings. Unfortunately, Marie is not here this week. We can't give her, some crap for the fact that Ernest and Jenn were eliminated, so she no longer has them.
Maybe she strategically just planned to be out this time.
Well, that's what she gets for trading Adam and Alex last minute for Ernest and Jenn.
Yeah.
So sorry, Marie, but you're down a team. Marie still has the track stars on her team, so that's great, and Shack Attack. So,
what's up with your teams?
My team, I'm still really proud of. I really love my team. I think they're really entertaining, especially Logan and Chris, even though they're not like one of the more popular teams on the show. They're not like rubbing me the wrong way like yet.
Right.
I feel like every now and then they have something to say, but it's usually the honest truth. And it's like, yeah, they're right. They have a point. So I like my team still. I don't know if you would be willing to make a trade.
No. No way, Jose.
I also love that the cheerleaders are still hanging in there by a thread. They're making me a little nervous. Tiffany and Krista, you're making me really nervous. You're always there, like, by the skin of your hair, like, just right there. I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Don't get eliminated, please. Because I'm still holding out for faith for you guys. And I know that we tried to fight over you at the beginning of our after show, Marie and I. So make me proud. I still have faith in you guys. I still have faith in you. So, but right now, like, my all-stars on my team are definitely Denise and James Earl. I love Denise. She's a rock star. And they're doing really, really well for, like, an intergenerational team.
As long as she keeps her mouth shut sometimes.
Hopefully she'll start to listen to James Earl.
I love her. All right, so my teams are freaking amazing. First, second, and third place. You guys are awesome. I'm a little nervous about this U-turn coming up because we clearly know what's going to happen. So hopefully that doesn't bust either teams in the behind. But I'm still rooting for you guys. I think it's Justin and the Texans are still going to stay up. And Kelsey and Joey, you guys are freaking killing it. You're staying up there.
Heck yeah. You are so lucky with all of your teams getting first, second, and third. That actually happened to me last season. Last season, all of my teams got first, second, and third.
And did I get points for the foot run?
Oh, yeah. You got the bonus points for that. But all my teams last season got first, second, and third. And then no one was able to catch up to me throughout the rest of the season. So I feel like this is happening yet again. Jess,
to me.
You have a streak of luck right now. And that's amazing because you literally are so far ahead of Marie and I that I don't even know if we'll be able to catch up to you.
And I have to give a shout out to Tanner because he did pull his hamstring and he still hopped his way all the way through the episode. He never gave up, and so props to you, buddy.
I think that Justin is on the line. I don't know if we can get confirmation on that or not. He keeps texting us saying that he can hear us. Justin, are you there?
Hey, can you guys hear me all right?
Yay!
Yay! Hi, Justin.
Oh, my gosh. I can't believe I am listening to you guys, and I don't get to be there. Although, just to not disappoint everybody, when you say Justin, this is the host that was with you guys, of course, the past couple of seasons, and not the Justin who is on the race, of course. Sorry to disappoint everybody.
Well, Justin, we certainly do miss you, and every week in the live chat, we have people tell us that. So I just wanted to relay the love to you that you are definitely missed here. And we are dying to know, because we haven't talked to you the last few weeks, what do you think of The Amazing Race Season 27?
Oh, my gosh. Well, one, I think this is amazing. I love the casting, and I think that not only the cast on the show, but also James and Jess, great casting in the studio with pulling in Marie to help fill in for my seat. So great job there. And, of course, like I said, I am sorry again this season, but, James, you're right. I listened to the earlier episode. I did have to get a big boy job, and it's both you and Jess's fault. I fell in love with reality television after doing AfterBuzz, and now I'm working full-time developing new reality shows.
Hey.
So, I mean, it's really because of AfterBuzz. It's all your guys' fault.
We're proud of you. Yeah, we're proud of you.
Yeah, well, in regards to this season, Jess, I think that you have a really strong team. I think that you got to watch out for Team Texas. They have the looks and like speech to charm other teams, I feel like. And they're also competitive.
Why
but you know what? Justin and Diana, they've studied the game, and just because they may rub other teams as feathers, I don't know. Who cares? They're strong. If you annoy teams and you're not very strong, you're gonna go. But even if you know it's other people, but like you're strong enough, like who cares? You're gonna leave them in the dust, you know?
Exactly.
So I think that Jess, you have a really strong team. Although I will say, and I promise I'll be quiet, I had forgotten when I first read the YouTube comments from your guys' like pre-show that one of the racers' names this season was Justin, and everyone was commenting like, "Justin, stop crying," and like, "Oh, Justin." I was like, "Oh, they hate me. I'm not even on this season." And then I realized it wasn't me. So thank you, Justin, for sharing the name.
What do you think of my team?
No, just my team. My team is the all-star team. Duh.
Yeah, and also great pick on not like the two I feel like were like the open. First of all, your guys' graphics are amazing this year for like who's on which team, because watching this live on YouTube right now, it looks so good. But also the team, James. So James, I love, by the way, Denise and James.
Yes.
They're fantastic. And I basically watch every episode just to see James hopefully jump up and down in class. Like when he does that, that is the funniest, most exciting thing in the world to me.
I love it.
So good.
James, who else is on your team? Remind me. You got.
I have the paparazzis who kind of have a villain side to them, it seems like, and then the cheerleaders, of course, that are hanging on by a thread.
Yeah, the cheerleaders, they still hang in there. The paparazzi, James, I worry sometimes about their communication with each other. I don't know what everyone on the live chat thinks right now. It is growing, by the way, James, but the live chat. But I do think that, I mean, they're smart and they're competitive people just based on being paparazzi. Mm-hmm. And speaking of paparazzi, my old former coworkers, what the hell happened
let's
with
talk
Kelly
about
and
that.
Oh
yeah, for those of you guys
gosh.
who don't know, Justin did work at TMZ. So what did you think of Kelly and Siobhan even being on the show in the first place and then epically failing? Not even making it to the first pit stop.
And it didn't even seem like people were really rooting for them.
No.
Yeah. Well, there's so much to talk about there. One, being that I was at TMZ for quite a while before this happened, I can tell you that Kelly and Siobhan have been trying to do the race for a long time. Mm-hmm. And it just didn't work out with either TMZ's schedule or it didn't work out for the right season for them with CBS. So, this has been a dream for theirs for a long time. And when they finally got the call, it was such a big deal in our office. We couldn't believe that with their busy filming schedule, they got to have 6 weeks off, and they just said, this will all be worth it as long as we don't get voted out first. And it was just like, oh, no. I mean, it's one thing if you get voted out first, but you have, the love and support of, your coworkers and your family. But, so true, TMZ is such, their whole format of their show is just to, kind of tease people. And so, they are just walking into the lion's den, having to go back after being voted out first. But you know what? Sometimes they have to dish the crap for their job, so now they're going to be used to just taking it as well. It's part of the game, I guess.
Karma
but I was still proud of them, and
sometimes.
I think they had a good time.
Yeah.
That's good, because it's no secret that our AfterBuzz panel this season, Justin, does not like them and had nothing nice to say about them after the first episode. And even Joseph Boza in our live chat said, Kelly and Siobhan sucked. They weren't even drafted on a fantasy team. So,
man.
Poor Kelly and Siobhan.
Can I say one thing, though, is that from a television point of view, though, I really wish they would have made it farther because you can tell that, they were ready to throw down dirt on all the players just like they do on TMZ. And just for, I wanted to pop the popcorn and watch the drama happen. I wish they would have stayed longer just to hear the crazy comments they would have had about each of the other teams. You know, I kind of miss all the trash talking behind people's backs, I guess.
What is reality TV doing to you, Justin?
Seriously, what? That is true,
it's made me a horrible, evil person. But no, I mean, I love this season, and like I said, I think there's really strong teams. And I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens next. And just so you guys do know, I know that this is my first chance to call in, but I listen to you guys. I miss you guys terribly, and hopefully this is certainly not a goodbye, but just a timeout until I can get back in there soon.
Your seat is always sitting right here.
Justin,
whenever you can come back.
I do have one more question for you.
Oh,
if you
James,
had
pressure's on. All right. By the way, you guys look great, and the studio looks so good.
Thank you. Thank
But
you.
go ahead.
We are in a brand new studio,
Brand new
everyone.
studio.
It is amazing.
My question is, had you played in the fantasy draft this season, let's say Marie was not in the equation, and it was back to the three of us, what three teams would you have fought for to be on your fantasy team?
If I had to fight for teams to be on my fantasy team, and by the way, I'm going to go back to like had I not seen these teams,
Yes,
I guess,
please do
because
that.
to kind of go with where you guys had just guessed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would have tried to fight for Tanner and Josh. I mean, they just look physical.
Woo!
They're in their middle 20s. They're from like Texas. You're just going to assume that they're like hardworking like country guys. So I would have picked them.
And they're cute.
Yes.
Honestly, I can't believe I'm saying this because you guys were all smarter than me. Shocker. I feel like James and Jess, you guys were always outsmarting me when it comes to picking teams. But I would have picked Kelly and Siobhan. Not only because I worked with them,
Oh my
but
God,
I
I
feel
would've
like
died.
as a reporter, what's that, Jess?
I would have died. That would have been hilarious.
You know I would have. But here's the thing, though. As a news reporter, you're used to working under pressure. You're used to trying to like dig in to like find the solutions and to get the answer. And like I know the work environment that they work in and like timelines
Sure.
and like running around. That's their thing.
Yeah.
So I would have thought for sure the pressure of these challenges would have been like a walk in the park for them. So once again, I'm glad maybe I didn't do this draft season. And the other team I would have really, really fought for, I think, you know what? I might have said Justin and Diana simply because they did so much research and they were such a big fan. And it's one of those where you do kind of have to learn about mistakes and, like, you know, watch seasons past and know, like, you know, don't do this or do this. So that's who I would have picked. So clearly my big whoopsie would have been Kelly and Siobhan.
I love it. Well, Justin, we have to wrap up with you, but can you tell our viewers where they can follow you on social media since you are no longer in our studio?
Oh, of course. You all can follow me still on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at Justin J. Nichols. And I just want to say you guys are great. Tell Marie hello. I miss you guys terribly, and keep up the great work I watch still every single week.
Thanks, Justin.
Thanks,
we
Justin.
miss you.
We miss you.
Bye, guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye. All right, quickly before we wrap it up, we got to do predictions, and I'm
Okay.
dying to know what you think, Jess. What do you think is going to happen next week with the W-turn, and who's going home?
Gosh, I think, you know what? I think that the cheerleaders.
No.
I know, I love them. I mean, they're a girl team. I'm rooting for them, but I think that they're just hanging on by that last straw.
Of course.
I think that it might be their time to go, and I think that, you know, I don't know. It's good. I still think at first place is going to be either the Texans or Justin.
Okay.
No matter what, even if with the W turn.
I think that first place are going to be the reporters. I think that the first two teams, Texas and Green Team, are going to be so busy trying to knock each other down that other teams are going to sneak right past them. So I think that reporters are close enough to the top to make their way to first. I'm going to throw a curveball because why not? So Kelsey and Joey, first place. I'm not going to say the cheerleaders are going to get last because I think with all the U-turn drama, nobody's going to U-turn the cheerleaders. They're not a team that you want to think about U-turning right off the bat. They're a team you want to continue to go on the race with. So I'm going to say the cheerleaders are going to be safe, but they're still going to be hanging on by a thread. Hopefully they can surprise me. I'm going to say something random. Like, I'm afraid that, like, paparazzi might go home, or the track stars even. Like, someone in the middle that, like, is going to get screwed over by a U-turn. And I think that Team Texas will probably use the U-turn. But I remember seeing in the clips for, like, what's going to happen this season, it looked like Logan and Chris were actually at a double U-turn stand, and it looked like one team hadn't chosen to use the U-turn yet. So I think Logan and Chris might use a U-turn, or they might be U-turned. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out based on just clips I saw in the preview.
Very interesting. And they're heading off to Africa, so that'll be interesting
Can't
to
wait. All right, Jess, where can people find you on social media?
You guys can find me at DressJessXO, and please let me know what team you guys are on. Team Jess, Team James, or Team Marie.
And you can find me on Twitter at James Wallington, on Instagram at James.Wallington, and my YouTube channel to follow me on all of my adventures at Where's Wallington. And we will be back next week, same time, same place. We can't wait to see what happens on the next episode.
Yes. Bye, guys. Thank you.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.